Okay, so I'm just going to be reading through. People think this is important for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. But the name Don DeVito came back up again. It's not the first time I've actually heard the name Don DeVito. I can't find out who she is in relationship to Danny DeVito. Now, Danny DeVito was married to Rhea Perlman. Now, there's a Dawn DeVito. I'm not sure who she is. And so, um, I'm just gonna. This is from. This is the contact book. It's redacted. I'm just gonna read the names. Now there is some celebrity names on here. It doesn't have their addresses now. Someone is posting the stuff unredacted on the internet. So this says Armstrong, Arthur, and Kathy, Asaf, Charlotte, and Vitario. Asnar Jose. Let me tell you my theory that I thought of today. Now, I had a theory that King Charles, they said they thought he was on the island. Or did they say he what? I can't remember. That I was talking to some folks from the UK and I asked him, I said, what if you found out that King Charles had done some things similar to Prince Andrew? Now, Prince Andrew abdicated his position for that reason, and they said that the British monarch and the whole country would come down on the royal family if they found out that King Charles had ever done anything like that. They would not want anything to do with him. They would put pressure on him to resign. Now, I have to wonder, though, because after seeing that the pressure campaign related to the United States has not worked with Donald Trump, I have to wonder what if King Charles just says, no, I'm not going to step down, and he very well could. And so right now the United States looks way worse than Great Britain has ever looked. And I know in the past Great Britain actually, they've had their share of things, but right now things look, and I know they said once one of the sons gets back in, that he said he would give the title back to his mother. The dad and royalty and the grandma stripped away from her. Hervé, Marlon, Aaron, Arellano, Victor Arellano. Okay, this is the names from the Epstein list. I'm reading. What am I reading here? The contact book. Everything in the masseuse list is redacted. Absolutely everything is redacted. So I'm just reading from the contacts. And so there's some disturbing things. There's some names that have popped up. I don't know who Don DeVito is in relationship to the Epstein files. Have no idea. Danny DeVito is married to Rhea Perlman. Don DeVito is just an unknown. She's on a flight log, but that's all she is on the flight log. Now, I was reading some of this stuff because they kept saying it's important. It's like, okay, let's look through it. So I finally found. Now, what they told me was to look on the Department of Justice website where I found this information. They said it's on here. We can't download it in any way whatsoever. Though that's not entirely true. Yes, we can download it. I don't have any reason to, and why would I want to download a bunch of redacted papers? I don't want to do that. I mean, the masseuse list is completely redacted, but let's just read through these names. There is celebrities on here. Most of these people I've never heard of. Asaf, Charlotte, and Vitario. Let me emphasize, I need to emphasize, at the bottom of the Department of Justice website, human trafficking is listed as the topic. The Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Office Attorney General components. This is related to human trafficking. Apparently, everything in here is related to human trafficking with Epstein Island. Arellano Victor, Aaron Hervé and Marlene, Jean Bradley, Astaire, Mr. Simon Astaire, Ash Lorinda, or maybe it's Lorinda Ash, I'm not sure. Joaquin Ariane Fernandez D. Ashley and Allegra Hicks. Astor Viscount William. If you have any questions, please ask questions in the comment section. if you want to have a conversation. Hello, ISEU F1s. Hello. At ISU. At ISU. Aster Viscount William. Ashley Allegra Hicks. Ashley. Nick and Ari Ashley. Fernando Arion. Mike and Amy Atkin is on the Epstein list. Oh my gosh, Mike and Amy is on the Epstein list. Shariar Bakatire is on the list. This is the list of contacts. Mike and Amy Atkin. Yeah. Andra Ballas. Sir Anthony and Lady C. Bamford. Never heard of him. Clive Bannister. Peter Barnes. Jailer Bannon. Craig Barnett. Doug Bands. Alec Baldwin, he's a celebrity. Most of these celebrities, we don't know who they are. Now, I have no idea who most of these other people are. I believe they must have been brought into the island for some reason. Oxford Balliol College. They took a whole, is that Balliol College, Oxford? So they took a whole college to Epstein Island. Bamford George Alice. Nicholas and Gretel Barham. Hillary Barstone. Hillary I don't know how to say this one. Hillary Batstone. So some of the name is really hard to read because it's redacted and covered up. Debbie and Bola von Bismarck. Bill Berkman. Stephen Benson. Tim Natasha Batstone. Lorenzo Balmer. Well, hello, Sula de Planche. If I say that right, maybe I butchered it, I hope not. 4272. Baron Bentinick. Tara Bernard. Vanessa von Bismarck. Martin Birchall. Jean-Marc Bisson. Jean-Paul Bajorlin. Robin Burleigh. Nicholas Berkgruen. Tamara Beckwith. Lisa Belsberg. And we're moving on. Hello, Cruathetti. I must have butchered that up. Cruathetti. Okay, so I am here. There's my hand. I'm a real human. Conrad and Barbara Black. David Blair. Tony Blair. Mike Bloomberg. Daniel Bodini. Nicholas Bucas. What? Oh, interesting. Nicholas Bucas. Mark and Lauren Booth. The name Bucas is kind of funny. Christina A. Booth. Paulo Borges. Annabelle Bond. Pierre de Bosgilbert. Edward de Bosglin. Mike Bloomberg. Samantha Boardman. Serena Boardman. Oh, is that Mr. Jill? I don't see the whole thing. Mr. Jill and Serena Boardman. Johnny and Sophie Bowden. Andrea Giola and Bonomi. Michael Barrico. Now, most of these people, never heard of them. I've never heard of any of them. Richard Branson. I have heard of, now, wait a minute, Richard Branson, isn't that where Obama went? Remember after President Obama was done being president, he went to what they called Branson Island, I thought. Richard Branson. And didn't we have Branson, Missouri? And so there was pictures of President Obama skiing in the Caribbean with Richard Branson. And so I'm not sure where Richard Branson's private island is in conjunction to Little St. James, which is Epstein Island. Now, I do recall my own self. At some point, I'm going to begin to think that I was on Epstein Island, but I'm not. I I want to say I do remember going past Little St. James. I remember actually pointing it out. Let's put this up here. This would be a good time we can put up. Breakfast for dinner, weird. Absolutely no. Um, Ada Brand, Dolany, Tony Brand, Peretti Fernando Brichetti. What a name, Peretti Fernando Brichetti, or is it Peretti Brichetti Fernando? Peretti Brichetti Ferdinando. That sounds like a food. That does not sound like a human's name. So who is Peretti Brichetti Fernandino? Ferdinando. Peretti Brichetti Fernando. It should be Peretti Brichetti Ferschetti. Peretti Brichetti Ferschetti. This guy's name is Penelope and Honorable Bruce Bosom. Sylvania Boscheri, Hugo Brachetti, Ada Diada Brandolini, Flavio Britatore. Now, for some reason, Flavio is circled. There's a square outside of the name, so apparently I'm wondering if that's something that has some intentions related to that name. I'm not sure. I have no idea. Nuno and Muriel Brandolini, Julia Broadhurst, Peter Brandt. Now, the name Peter Brandt sounds familiar. Have no idea who he is. Miss Katie and Serge Brain, Carolyn Brain, Hugo Brachetti. I might have already said that once. Sylvini Boscheri, Rick Bork, Hamish Knowles. That's what it looks like as Knowles, but I'm not sure. It says Owles. Right now it's Hamish Owls is what it looks like. Now we're moving on. Louise Albert de Broglie, Chris and Allison Brown. I don't know if that's a celebrity Chris Brown. I have no idea. Chris Brown. Tanya Breyer, Ron Burkle, Mr. Jules Burney, Joan Juliet Burke, Jimmy and Jane Buffett. Jimmy Buffett was on Epstein Island. Martin Bertrill, Candace Bushnell. Who is Candace Bushnell? The name sounds familiar. I don't know who she is. Bartle Bull, John Luke Burnell, James and Lucinda Bruce, Edgar Bonfman Jr., Christopher and Amanda Brooks, Miranda Brooks. I hope that's right. Crooks or Brooks, I can't tell because part of it is partially redacted. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Brooks. Okay, and I had it zoomed in too far. Okay, that's my fault. I had it zoomed in too far. Bartle Bull, Hamish and Emma Bilal. Hamish is quite a popular name, it looks like. Archie Bunsen. Anyone have any questions? Kruth Shetty. Okay, you have been in here. Okay. Roddy Campbell. Brooks and Emilio Del Campo. Alistair Campbell. Roddy Campbell. Elaine Codinet. Jason Calacanis. Wait a minute. Jason Calacanis, is he C-A-L-A? Let me see something. That name seems familiar. Jason let me see here. Jason. Wait. Oh my God. Oh, Calacanis. Jason. That is him. Oh my God. Oh my God. Jason Calacanis. That is him. He was on Epstein Island. Jason Calacanis. Now, he is a guy. I was trying to think of his name the other day. Let me see if Wikipedia has him cited as Epstein Island, because this man is absolutely on Epstein Island. Let's see. I believe he was an angel investor. Mr. McCabe, Jason McCabe Calacanis, born November 28th, 1970, is a podcaster, American internet entrepreneur, angel investor, and author. His first company was part of the dot-com era in New York. His second venture, Weblogs, and publishing company that he co-founded together with Brian Alvey, capitalized on the growth in blogs before being sold to AOL. Calacanis is also an angel investor in various technology startups and co-host of the All In podcast alongside David Sachs. Well, let's go down here though and let's see what we can find here. Personal life, 2006-2009, he married Jade Lee. Sometime between 2006 to 2009, Calacanis was an early supporter, founder of the effort behind the successful recall election of the San Francisco District Attorney, Chelsea Boudin. Calacanis is a contacted listed in the Jeffrey Epstein's Little Black Book, which gained attention following the conviction and death of Epstein. I learned something new. Now, I'm not sure. When I hear angel investor and technology startups, I hear red flags. That's what I hear is red flags. So let's get back to reading through this. Roddy Campbell, Delbrooks, Brooke, and Emilio Campo Del Campo, I'm not sure. Andrew D. Condole, Alistair Campbell, Giancarlo Camerana. Cammy, that's all that's there by itself is Cammy. Nicholas A.C. Candy. Naomi Campbell. Naomi Campbell, she's the fashion model. Now, these names are far and few. These other people, I have no idea who they are. Never heard of them at all. Never heard of any of them. Far and few between. There are celebrities. So I'm assuming these folks are either children or celebrities of some sort. You know, people I've never heard of. And now, but see, they've all said they've had something that happened on Epstein Island. And so I need to barricade myself inside of my room for safety purposes. Just on the chance, I sometimes forget to do that. And so what I need is one of those great big boards that come down, you know, those great big wooden boards that is so castle-like, and it comes down and then it locks into a U-shaped clip of some sort, and to protect myself even further, even though I don't really have any reason to do that. I just feel like it's something I wanted to say right now. Just because. And so let's continue reading these names. Nikki Kalden, Terry Burton, Charlie Butter, but it's spelled Buttar, not ER, Batar. Charlie. Oh, I learned something about Qatar. There's a giant fund. It's Q. Oh, it's something to do with Q out of Qatar, and it's a transfer of money. The Qatar Foundation, QUT, Qatar Trust and Foundation, Qatar Foundation, Qatar. That's different from the Qatar Trust. But let me not get too distracted and continue reading the names here. Okay, Giancarlo Camerana, Andrew D. Condole, Nicholas A.C. Candy, Naomi Campbell, Mario Ariand, and Calvo Platero, Robert Bing. Okay. Dr. Mark Cecil, Debbie Castaneda, Sophie Caruth, Caprice. I have no idea who Caprice is. Buck UV on your. Why did Buck UV come up on TikTok? I don't know what that is. Sarah Massimio Carello, Michael and Charlene Carvalho, Abby and Victoria Cator, Dr. Mark Cecil, Fabrizio Serena. Now, when someone is named Fabrizio, that just gives me a red flag for some reason. Fabrizio, I don't know. Fabiola. Wasn't Fabiola some sort of fabric softener? But I did know a girl in school and her name was Fabiola. And I think we had a fabric softener like that. So, I mean, are people really naming their kids after fabric softeners and smell good stuff like Febreze and Fabiola and cleaning products? Why would you do that unless you're planning on selling your children into human trafficking? And is that what's happening with these islands? I think it is, because this whole thing is listed underneath the Department of Justice and Human Trafficking. Michael and Sharian Carvalho, Sarah Massimo Carello, William and Karina Carey, Camilla Carbone, Guido Casagrande, Mark and Minnie Cecil, Serena Fabrizio, Serena, I'm not sure which direction. Mark and Minnie Cecil, did I already say them? Stevenson, Ariella, Cecil. Giancarlo Cerruti, Simon Case, George and Paulina Case, Carmine. Have you heard of Carmine? Hello? Oh, we don't have anybody new on here anymore. Barbara Carrera, Vikram Chatwal, Gianfranco Sigana, Giaspel Cipriani, Lucy Clive, Larry Coben, Gustavo and Patty Cisneros, Amadio Claverino, Marla. Is that Marla or Mar? Yeah, Marla. Marl. Marlina. I'm not sure. Cisna. John and Lucy Shenevics Trench. Well, this is just like a mob. It sounds like to me, it sounds like the cartel. That's all it sounds like to me, is a great big South American cartel. Petro and Alejandra Cicognani, Gianluca Cicogna, Gioconda Cicogna, Linska Sirach, Graham and Emma Clemson, John Alice Faye Cleese, Miss Mandy Cochrane, Dalit Cohen. Wait a minute, Cohen? Could be a relationship to Michael Cohen. I have no idea. Harry Cottrell, Clive Cook, Jeffrey Cole, Peter Cohen, Joe Coleman, Henrietta Conrad, Phil and Orion Collins, Miss Rachel Cordell. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Have you ever heard of Matthew Cordell, the book artist Matthew Cordell? I wonder if he's married to Rachel. Should we look and see? I'm not sure. Should we look and see? Martine de Courcelles, Mariana Cowdray, Colin Cowie, Rupert and Camilla Cordell. There's another Cordell. Hohenlohe, Fernando de Cordova, Susanna Stenber Constantine, Nicholas and Georgiana Coleridge, Joe Coleman. Sophie Crabbe, Amer A. DeBach, David and Linda Davies, Michael Davis, Nick and Heather Day, Drake Deeren, Sophie Dahl, Mrs. Jennifer Diabo, Canon Dialessi, Alastar Kudrow, Boykin R. Curry, Drake Deeren, Nick and Heather Day, Marcelo DeAndre, William Dartmouth, Jeff Davies, Prince Pierre D. Ehrenberg, Amanda Cutter, Henry and Tatiana Diabo, Jacques D. Cruslow D. Uzis, Jeff Davies. Does anyone ever heard of Jeff Davies? Debbie Dickinson, Janice Dickinson. Now, she is the famous celebrity, Janice Dickinson. She was on Epstein Island. So the celebrities are far and few between. I have no idea who these other people are. Fernando de Soto. So it looks like these are the people who are on the list and that are being human trafficked to the island, I'm thinking. Patrick DeBayque, Millie D. Cabral, John and Paulette Didu, Cass and Ted Derby Earl Kuntis. It's spelled Cntess. Antoine and Kath, Mark Antone and Kath Dietrich, Paul and Laura Dietrich, Rose and John Derby. Oh, Countess. Is that, Countess. Maybe it's Countess, Cntess. This looks like royalty. Oh, no wonder I don't know them. See, that's the thing, and that's why Great Britain is talking about this too. The folks from the UK are talking about this heavily. And I asked them, I said, if you believed that King Charles, that's why Prince Andrew was abdicated from the throne because of things that he did on this island. And so Great Britain has something to do with this heavily with the United States related to this island, I believe. Now, I actually was thinking that it is one of those go-between shell type islands that somebody owned it, but they were using a fictitious name. So I used the example on TikTok and I said, now, if I have a GoDaddy, I can pay extra money to mask my address on the internet. Otherwise, people can look up the address and see what my private information is. So through GoDaddy. And then they know who I am. Now, me, I'm not a celebrity, and I wouldn't necessarily think that that's going to be a big problem. You really wouldn't. But if you end up with a great big website or a YouTuber or something like that, you have a private website, which I'm telling you right now, don't have a private website if you're going to try to do things like that. YouTube in and of itself is going to help you keep things private as much as they can. And then you don't have to just use YouTube for your website. And so... but if you have another private website, you have to mask it. And so what I've said is, well, was Epstein Island a mask? And was Donald Trump actually Jeffrey Epstein? Was it either Donald Trump or King Charles? One of the two of them, possibly. I think Jeffrey Epstein could have been used. And the other thing I've said is, what if there was foreign adversaries who had been on Epstein Island? So, for example, if Donald Trump and King Charles met with Putin on Epstein Island. Should we look this up and see if Putin has ever been on Epstein Island? Let's see if Vladimir, we'll ask Google, has Vladimir Putin ever been on Epstein Island? Was Epstein saying for Putin? Epstein tried to contact Putin according to new documents. See? Was Epstein a honey trap for Russia? There is very little about this. Jeffrey Epstein was Vladimir Putin's wealth manager. Oh my goodness sakes. Now, I actually found documents with, what is her name? Uh, what was her name? Oh, not Janice Dickinson, Dawn Divito. And I found a whole bunch of stuff that says for Jeffrey Epstein in Florida. Now, the people from the UK told me, they said, well, if you call, you might not want to mess with that. Now, I had no plans on calling. What I said was, it kind of shocks me that this stuff is still listed public. Now, Jeffrey Epstein at Brillo Way, 358 El Brillo Way is what I'm seeing right here. I would not advise anyone to call it or to send an email. I said, now the man has passed away. If you get an answer from somebody, that means that somebody else is operating his operation, is what's taking place. But let's get back to reading through this. Mark Antione and Kath Dietrich. Paul and Laura Dietrich. Jonathan Dimbley. Charlotte DeVita. Rose and Jonathan Derby. Dina and Chartuni DeLuca. Adam Dell. Lucas Delbog. Alan DeCandinet. Clermont Tournier, Hermine D. Giorgio, something. Some of these names are really, really hard to read. Minnie Driver. Now, she is a celebrity. Deandra Douglas. Pedro Dinas. Alexandra Dixon. Day DeRossi. Elagra Dorit, Elie Wiesel. If you remember Elie Wiesel, Dr. Elie Wiesel, this is the guy. Dr. Elie Wiesel was, I think, from Germany, and one of them that was from one of the concentration camps era. Dr. Elie Wiesel was on Epstein Island. Peter Dubins, Glenn Dubin, Bernard Driesman, Louise and Tiffany Dublin, David and Christy Prenier Dross, Dorit and Dory, Dale DeRossi, Alex and Susie Dolby. Hope I'm butchering some of these names, I know it. Peter Dublin, the Duchess of York. Oh, here is the royalty. Duchess of York, which is Sarah Ferguson. Duke of York, which would be Prince Andrew. There they are right there. The Duke and Duchess of York is on Epstein Island. So their names are listed there, but all the information associated with it has been redacted. Paul Dusing, Glorandano Ducre Francisco, John and Charlotte Duthie, Umar Zabrilio, Bernie Ecclestone, Paul Ecton, Lucinda Edsel, Luigi Durso, something, I'm not sure what exactly that is. Johnson, Miranda, and Steph Dunbar. Paul Dusing. Okay, let's see what else is on here. Andrew and Tracy Edwards. Charlie and Amanda Ellingworth. Nona Erba. Manuel and Rose Espirito Santos. Joe Coffey, Gail and Elliot. Jean-Marc Eslin. Christina Jufrail Estrada. Mandy and Ralph Ellison. Elizabeth. Jonathan Elian. Brian Elias. Johan Amanda Elosh, Mr. and Mrs. Ellingsworth, Ben Elliott, Annabelle Elwes, Ed Epstein. Oh, there's another one, another Epstein. Who is Ed Epstein? Christina Jufale Estrada. Okay, Oliver D. Fultons, Pepe Fanjul, Terrence and Cornelia Faulkner, Fiona Feely, Miss Christina and John Roby Falla, Mrs. Falla, Meredith Fall, Danny and Christine Falker, Falkray, something like that. Nastasia Fairweather. This sounds like royalty to me. This sounds like people of high society and royalty from the UK. Chris Evans, Angie Eva Hart, David Faber, Brooke Johnson, Sally Faber, Charlotte Fabane, Lady Patrick and Mata, Lady Ambassador Fairweather. So she must be royalty. Lady Ambassador Fairweather. Miss Christina and John Roby. I think I already said that name. Frederick Feckle. The Feckles were there. Christopher and Charlotte Fig. Charles Finch. Martin Fiennes. Leonardo and Beatrice Ferragamo. Is that the children of the prince? I'm not sure. Hugo Ferrante, Andrew Feldman, Brian Ferry, Helena Phoenix, Ralph Fiennes, Finkelstein, Howard Finkelstein. Haven't we heard of Howard Finkelstein before? I'm pretty sure we have heard of Howard Finkelstein. Princess Fire Y'all. That's her name, is Princess Fire Y'all. I think that's a great name. I agree. Fire 'em all. Princess Fire Y'all. Firyal. Fire Y'all. I think we should. I agree with Princess Fire Y'all. Let's get rid of them all. Dan Fisher. Chuck Pfeiffer. Suzanne Flennis. Mark Fiennes. Brian Ferry. Andrew Feldman. Helena Felix. David and Ann Fell. Okay, let's move on down here. Mook, Flick, what a name. Forbes, Stephen and Sabine. Stephen Forbes was there? Is that the Forbes guy? The big Forbes guy? Violet Frazier, Jonathan Foreman, Francisco de la Garda Mister, Kathy Francie, Rocco and Alanai Fort, Nicola Formby, Katie Ford, Bobby and Jeanette Foman, Zandy Forbes, Chris Kip, Astrid Forbes. Oh, that name reminded me of an Astrid Dean I used to know at another time. Isabel Freys, Matthew Fraud, Freud, Matthew Freud, not Fraud. That's a terrible thing to mess up, isn't it? Lucinda and William Fox, Andrew Fox, Alai Rocco Forte, Tom and Richard Buckley Ford, John Foreman. Okay, let's move on down and read some more. Mr. David and Lady Karina Frost. Okay, so must be more royalty when they say lady. Bravelli Nina Furstenberg, von Furstenberg, Esteban Juan Ganoza, Jeremy Garson, Nacho Gasper. His name is Nacho Gasper, really? His name is Nacho. He named himself Nacho. Harriet Gall, Tim Geary, Ludmilla Garcia, Edwina Fison, Gattani Galasto, Rufrido Gattani, Teresa Fulhurst, Cosmo and Amanda Fry, Heinrich and Milana Furstenberg. It's to me it looks like Heinrich, but it's Heinrich and Milana Furstenberg. Alex Alexandria B. Furstenberg, Mario Jr. Gennaro, Michael Garland, Catronia German Ribbon. Okay, let's move on down here. Isabel Goldsmith, Luca Giussani, Caroline Gibson. Let's see what we got here. So they think all this stuff is important. We're going to read through it. Eric Gertler, Mark Getty, Andrew Gilfillan, Mary Gonville, Sandy Grolinken, Charlie Glass, Mary Glanville, Edmund and Emily Glentworth, Pilar Gose, Thomas Gomez, Gary Ginsberg, Andrew and Emma Gilmore, Lord and Lady Guilford, Mark Getty, Pla and Chris Getty, Emma Gibbs, Howard Giddles, Ellen Goldberg, Thomas, I think we already read Thomas, we're not going to read him again, Gordy and Catherine Gregg, MC Pavio Screes, Francois Groff, William and Emma Gomez, something Gordon, I can't actually read that. I can't because it's redacted too much. Juliet Gore, David Granby, Deborah Green, MC and Pavio Screes, Natasha Grenfell, Ted Griffin, Nina Griscombe, Pamela and Jimmy Finkelst, Finkelst, Pamela, says Gross, Pamela and Jimmy Finkelst, is it Finkelst Gross, Judy Green, Greece, Prince Olga. Prince Olga from Greece was on Epstein Island. Prince Olga. Grabau Lorenzo. Dmitry Golandris. And I haven't seen anybody else famous here that I actually know or have heard of. So I think I'm reading through British royalty that I've never heard of. I have no idea who they are. But there's probably people who think I should know who they are, even though I have no idea who they are. Susan and John Gutfreund. Solana and Nicholas Gedrolz. Lloyd Grossman. Meraldi Eisen Golani. Tony Gocioni. Valeska Hermes Grand. Sabrina Guinness, Pippa Hall, Jen Halpern, Luca Guslani, Clementine Hombro, George Hamilton. Oh, George Hamilton, I wonder if he's the suntan guy. He might be the suntan guy. Ira Goomberg, Barbara and Bert Guggenheim. Yep, that's it, Guggenheim. Cornelia Guest. Christian Gudenfin. Okay, let's keep going. Hammond, Dana Hammond, Brooke Hansen, Lord and Lady Hansen, Marie Habsburg, Henry and Patricia Hay, Regina Hayworth, Claire Hazel Ivick, Isabel Harvey Watt, Nick Haslam, Barry and Susan Hearn, Craig and Jane Hatkoff, the Honorable Robert Hanson, Lord and Lady Hanson, Dana Hammond, Sharon Handler, Ernest and Shantai Hanover. Okay, let's move on up here. Rob Hefner, Lisa Hayden, Mr. Frady Helmkin, Olga and Olaf Hermes, Juan and Helen Herrero, Robert and Kim Herself, Ms. Annabelle Hesseltine, Rupert Hesseltine, India Hicks, David Flintwood. Now his name is really tiny. Howard Himmelstein, and then it says ZYZZX, Jeff Hirsch, Robert and Andrea Hisholm, Dustin Hoffman. Now Dustin Hoffman is the famous guy, I believe. Hetty Hoffman, Hill Anthony, Mr. and Mrs. Hesseltine, Maria Helven, Jason Herbert, Jessica Hoffman, Ben Holland Martin, Mr. and Mrs. James Holland, Nina Hovian, Shant Hoviana, Lucy Johansson Haugego, Peter Sue, Laura Hunt, John and Mary Kay, Carlin and Lori Hunter, Nick and Kim Hurd, Liz Hurley. Don't know who Liz Hurley is unless she was married to Chad Hurley. I have no idea. Kit and Georgianne Gordon Hunter. Howard Canlow. Horn, Adam, and Tierney. Ann Hurst. Robert Hurst. Lulu and Edward Hutley. Mr. and Mrs. Hutley. Isla Hussein. Isla? A-Y-L-A. Isla who? Isla Hussein? Isla who? Isla who? Charlie Ind. I-N-D. I don't know what that is. Gerard J. Inzirlo. Abdullah Ismail. Chris Isham. Julian Jacobson, Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger's famous guy right there, I think. I don't know, some of them have passed away, so I don't know if he was one of them or not. George Ireland, Eddie Irvine, Houghton Lauren Houghton. I think she was she's really old if she's a fashion model. Ivan Hymas, Inca, Henry Hutley, Simon Hoosie. Okay, let's get going through this a little bit faster. Haiti Jagger, Jake, Nancy and Andrew Jarecki, Tim Jeffries, Richard and Nadine Johansson, Calliope Corella and Michael Rena. I've heard of Michael Rena, just not Calliope Corella, or the name Rena, the last name, or was it Lisa Rena? Ron Kastner, Lucy Johnson, Ann and Mick Jones, Nick Jarecki. Now, most of these people, never heard of them. Jason Canada, Jailer, Susie James, Mohammed Jamil, Linda Janklow, Georgie Keller, Mark Katzenell and Hogan, Sarah Kaling, Ron Kagan, Georgie Keller, Leo Arthur, Gavel, Caroline Kellett Frace, Ted Kennedy Jr. Ted Kennedy Jr. Oh my goodness, Ted Kennedy Jr. He's got to be part of the Kennedy family. Uh-oh. Senator Edward Kennedy. Senator Edward Kennedy, the passed away senator who passed away, I think, not long into President Obama's presidency. I think that was it. Bobby and Mary Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy. So there's 3 Kennedys who have been on Epstein Island. Antoine, Janet, George, Kayot, Gemma Kidd, Abby King, Ethel Kennedy. Ethel Kennedy? I thought Ethel was the mom. Ethel Kennedy was on Epstein Island. Joe Kennedy, Cuomo, Andrew and Carrie Cuomo Kennedy. Or is it Andrew and Carrie Kennedy Cuomo? Andrew Cuomo? Was that Governor Cuomo? And they were talking about when a Governor Cuomo's sons or something wanted to run for some political positions, and so maybe this would be something to look into for some of these, these affluent politicians' kids. Leo Arthur and Gail Clemenson, Rory Keegan, Amanda Kiden, John Kiden. The name Amanda seems to be very, very, very popular. Charlie Helen Taylor Kerwin, Taylor Peter Kerwin, Dr. Henry A. Kissinger, David Koch. Isn't he one of the Koch brothers? The Koch brothers, David Koch, Astrid Cole, Bobby Kotick, Alex Young Coates, Alistair Kudrow, Dolomail Law, David Lambert, Edward Lambert, Duff and John Lambos, Carolyn Lang. That name seems familiar. Dieter Lang, Christopher Lambert, Demetra Lalanis, Alex von Coates, Anna Kravitz, Karen Kruth, Rupert and Charlie Klee, Jonathan Cleesh. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Janet Larson, Jonathan Laurie, Lori D.B. Levida, Paul Lawton, Christopher and Marie Lazar, Simon and Jasmine Laban, Piers Lee, Jeffrey Leeds, Jerry Left Count. Ooh, interesting. Leaf Count, Lefcou, Court, Leaf Court. Doug Lehman. Did I get that name is completely redacted. So that box is completely redacted. Roger and Sloan, Lindemann Barnett, Philip Levine, Dominique Lester, Willie Lamarck, John Ives Lafleur, Christopher and Jean Lawford, Adam and Elizabeth Lindemann, Lindsay Blake, Lindley David, Legois, Senior and Frida George Lindemann, Eva Viveri Lorenzodi, Richard Lonsdale, Courtney Love. Oh, I wonder if the box must be those who have passed away. She hasn't passed away, though. She's still living. So Courtney Love's on there in a box. There's another one in there in a box, too. Ivana Lowell, Mark Lloyd, Colin Lucas, John and Lottie Lorimer, Carol and Earl Mack, Guy Lothan. Okay. Robert Locascio, Ladoic, Lindsay Ladoic, I'm not sure which direction that goes. Dave and Bella McMillan, Ira C. Magaziner, IRAC, Iraq. That's Iraq. Ira C. Magaziner is Iraq. So that's a wordplay on Iraq. Ira C. Magaziner. Wordplay on Jennifer McGuire, Michael Mahler, Josh Mailman. Who has the last name of Mailman? Harry and Dee Dee Malik. Mr. Philip Malilincroat, John Mancani, Alessandro Manfredini, Eddie Mangope, Eddie Manners, Peter Mandelson, Mandela, Masheri Mandela Malengra, Harry and Dee Dee Malik, I think I already read their name, Giovanni Mahler, Sean Mahoney, Marjorie Molina, Shelley and Tony Malkin. Let's see here. Tersa Manners. Tersa. Jose Luis and Alendra Manzano, Stefan Alia Marks, John Mappin, Eric Margolis, Manilo and Pla Morocco, Astrid Marsterler, Peter Martins, Matteo Marzotto, Caitlin Maroleon, Carolina Matson, Basil and Karina Marvoleon, Carlos Marvoleon. Okay, let's go down here and read some more. Isabel Maxwell, Ian and Tara Kevin and Pandora. E. Maxwell. Dr. and Mrs. Philip Maxwell. Debbie Maxwell. Menoli Merivalion. Mr. Bluey Mevrolion, or what? Mevrolian, maybe that's it, Mevrolian, not sure. Nicholas and Barbara Mevrolian. Lawrence and Miss Anne Maxwell. So this must be Ghislaine Maxwell's Ghislaine. Melina Christine Maxwell. Maxwell E. Maxwell Smart. You guys remember the TV show Maxwell Smart? Mendoza. Neil Mendoza. Katie Menzies. Guy and Caroline Mearson. Todd Meister. Jock and Prue McLeod. Shannon McLean. Cass McClancy. Eleanor MC. Alistair Roman McAlpin. Marcella Maxwell. Mr. John Mayhew. Yossi Mazzandi. Matteo Mazzotti. Anthony McFarland. Raymond McKenzie. Let's see. Mr. Jonathan Mermagan. Justin Metcalf. Milani and Julian Metcalf. Julian and Milani Metcalf. Oh, Lori Metcalf. That's probably what that's about. Robbie Metz. Toby Meyer. Phoebe and John Micklethwaite. What a strange name. Bob Goldthwaite, Micklethwaite. That's kind of what I think of. George and Claire Haven Milford. Cheryl Mills Minot. Minute Minot. Carrie and Belle George Minot. Minot, South Dakota. Susan Minot. Kevin Mishar. Haven, Sarah Milford Haven. Danielle Medafuri. Cecil Monasada. Nicole and Kim Tapel Miller. Probably butchering that up. Gianluca Milani. Fave and John Micklethwaite. I think I already read that one. Justin and Joanna Metcalf. Metcalf is on there an awful lot. Rosa Monktulon. Deborah Moore. Juliet and Chris Moore. Kyle and Charlie Kit Money. Mr. Jeffrey Mortimer. Gigi and Avril Mortimer. Peter Morton. Donald Monroe. Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch is on there. Oh my goodness. He's very famous. I think he's just a money guy. Phillips and Kate Murray. Mr. and Mrs. Murray Phillipson. Tertius Clay Thurpland Murray. Jean Pierre Murray. Alan Murovka. Robert Morton. Stanley Morris. Nick and Lucy Morris. Monty Ricardo. Cesar Montemayor. Emmanuel Nadler. Adam Nagel. William Nagel. Dot M. Ioscope Nardi. Isle and Alex Natase. Gilletta Negrette. Clive No. Mr. and Mrs. John Newman. Hefty Newman. William N. Jane Nickerson. Yoshi Nishiro. Yoshi Nishio is the name. Alex Noel. The Honorable Thomas Noel. Harry Nuttall. Tim Noonan. Okay. William and Arabella Oswald. Beale and Edaviege Otto. Vaughn, Edward, and Katie Orchard. Miss Mirella Oppenheim. B.S. and Christina Ong, O-N-G. Ralph Omar. Camille Olson. Mr. Carletto McDonald. Louise McNeil. Simon Oates. Tom Oates. Yinka Ojora. Melissa Ong. Miss Lori Oppenheim. Fabrica, another one of those names. Orlando. Rachel Osborne. Tim and Katie Owen Edmonds, Bale Eldridge Otto. Okay, let's read through the rest of this. Andres Pastrana, Elise Poshin, Joel Pascal, maybe? I'm not sure. I've heard of that name, Pascal? Pitar Palumbo, Nader and Bridget Pon Azadi, Miss Victoria, Abby Creel Pank, Marcia Palau, Nicole Paney, Christina and Mark Yagi Oxenberg, Tompkinson Tara Palmer, Mr. James Palumbo. Then there's the name Palumbo again. It sounds like Columbo, Palumbo. Miss Victoria and Albie Carto Pank. So the name Palumbo, I wonder where it comes from. Lumbo, Alumbo, Palumbo. I've heard of it before a lot, actually. And the area I'm in, it seems it must have some significance because I had a neighbor at one time, and my neighbor was receiving mail from someone named Palumbo, and they were from Ohio. The people were from Ohio. So I asked the neighbor lady one time, I went and knocked on their door, and I said, I got this mail here. Do you know anybody by this name? And she said, no. And I said, oh, I thought it was your relative. And she's like, no, I have no idea who they are. And so this name Palumbo kept going to their house. Carolina Parsons, Stacy Pashow, married name is Gardle. John Paulson, Alan and Susan Petrikoff, Casolma and Ricardo Pavoncelli, I guess, Pavoncelli, Jane and William Nick Pickering, Frederico Pignatelli, Holly Peterson, Ricky Peterson, Andrew Famlin Don, Harlan Pellets, Mark Pinnell, Ronald Perlman, Hysius Pantagi, John Peters, Pico Marcus, Tifo Pedrini, Lorenzo Pedrini, Simon and Clem Peace, Honorable Charles Pearson. Okay, let's move on down here. Okay, Sandy Pittman, Richard Pelper, Diane and Dennis Polivier, Isabel Palou, Emmanuel Pillow, Eduardo Polly, George Polk, Jeffrey Podolsky, Clary Polu, Ivan Sivic Porin, Pliny Porter, Emmanuel Portholt, Mr. and Mrs. Portholt, Catherine Probst, Electra Preston, Muffle Poulter, Merle Poster, Remy and Isabel Porthall, Pascal Portholt, Sonia Popolo, David Putnam, Chris, I remember a guy, Grant Putnam, on a soap opera. Grant Putnam? Chris Pymont, Alan Kortuki, Topper Quinn, Tiara Puig, Mark Puig, Prop Rodney, Ladoma Pookie, Tom Pritzker, Christy and David Doss Pruner, Judy Price, Eliral Princess, Nick Pritker. What was that one that came up in chat the other day? Something about Christy Steamer or something Steamer. Nicholas Rushline, Carolyn Radswill, Mr. Galen Ranklin, Don Rappaport, Isabel Ratsey, Ollie Reitz. Oh, wasn't there a woman, Jill Rappaport, on TV? Michael Renault, Kate Reardon, Patty Reanus. I've never heard of any of these people for them being famous. Nick Rebecca Willis Ritblot, Tom Rupert Ritson, Joan Rivers and Melissa Rivers. Oh my goodness. Joan Rivers and Melissa Rivers. You know, I often wondered if Joan Rivers was Melissa Rivers, if they were the same person. Joseph and Jill Robert, Deb Roberts, David Rocka Savage, Joe and Lisa Shields Robinson, Kasaya Roblinsky Robin, Mr. Edmondo and Maya Robin-Lott. Oh goodness. Okay, so let's read through this a little bit more. Rob Rosenstein, Jane Rosenthal, Rich Rothenberg, Peter Thomas Noreen Roth, Tanya and Robin Rotherick, Donald Rosenfeld, Ms. Claudia Rosenkrantz, Dennis and Sylvia Rosen, Andrew Rosen, Amanda, Charlie and Berta Rose, Bill Rohde, Gall Rolfe, Lisa Ronson, Mr. and Mrs. Gerald Ronson, Wendy and Joe Rose, Edward D. Rothschild, Della Rudnick, Michelle Russell, Mariana and Ian Rust, Caroline Rumgeri, Evelyn D. Rothschild, Edward D. Rothschild, Honorable Lucinda Royal, Natalie Russelli, Tom Ruskow, Marla and Eon Rust. Okay. Jeffrey Sachs, Amy Sacco, Mr. Nicholas Ryder, Eric and Perry Rutenberg, Duke and Dutch Rutland, ESS. I don't know what that means. Must be royalty from somewhere, never heard of them. Edmund Safra, Wayne Safro, Wafik said, that's his last name, said, S-A-I-D. Mr. Jamie Sainsbury, that would be a nice name, Sainsbury. Look, my name says I'm Sains, or it could be Ainsbury. Ainsbury, A-I-N-S-L-Berry, Aylesbury, that would be terrible. Eric Solma, Mr. Nicholas Ryder. Nicholas Ryder, is he someone famous? Could be, I don't know. Amy Sacco, Jeffrey Sachs, S-A-C, or Sachs. Sachs, don't know. Brenda Shad, Andre and Angie Shearer, Chris and Maura Shore, Bobby Shriver. Marie Shriver is on here. Yes, of course, that makes sense. With the Kennedy family. Maria Shriver is on the Epstein list. Benny Shabati. Isabel Sojourner. These are Norwegian names. Not all these names are, a lot of these are European names. They might sound Central American, but they're European. Christine Ciern, Montifro, Simon, and Santa Sabag. Helen and Tim Shifter. Julio Mario Santo Domingo. Mr. and Mrs. Espirito Santo. Prince Solomon Sod. Never heard of him. Randall Serbo. Gianmarco Shoddy. Mr. Ben Sangster. Guy and Phi Sangster. You guys know Guy and Phi Sangster? I don't even have anybody listening to me. John and Corey Sandelmar. Mia Samuels and Elizabeth Saltzman. John, the name John is on here an awful lot. A very, very lot. Susie Schuster, Peggy Segal, Ron Silver, Nancy and Henry Silverman, William Seagal, Brand Simon, William Seagart, Nuna Smith Peterson, Osborne Smith, Bobby Slayton, Rena and Sammy, Cindy Carruth, Sophie Simpson, James Smith. Now the name Carruth is kind of funny. That's all I'm going to say right now. Maria Snyder, Rupert Millie, Solms. Let's go on down here. I think we're getting closer to being done. Steenkamp, Chris Steenkamp, Jeffrey Steiner, Chris and Nina Steinkamp, Andrew Stengel, Rick and Mary Stengel, Thomas Sterzwarski, Koo Stark, Carolyn Stanberry, Edward Sabris, Hugo Squire. His name is completely redacted. Fernando DeSoto, Jamie Marina DeSoto, Hamilton South, Carlos Souza, Kevin Spacey. Oh, Spacey. I thought it was Spacey. Yeah, I've heard of him, Kevin Spacey. So he's on Epstein list. Peter Soros. Oh, wonder if that has anything to do with George Soros. Could be. Maybe, maybe not. Andrew Solomon. Esperanza Sabrino. Peter Solomon. Book of Solomon. Leonard and Allison Stern. Allison Stern, is that Howard's wife or someone different? I thought his wife was Allison Stern. Kate Stretcher, Stuart Sundian, Mr. James and Amanda Sunley, Harry Sutherland, Peter Svensson, Sophie Swire, Charlie Stopford Sackville, Lucy Aaron Sykes, Mr. David and Lucy Wasnock, Simon Talbot Williams, Takai Mark Swire, Jenny Swire, Hugo Swire, Kareem and Christina Tobbit, Paul Toffee, Hugo Swire. Okay. Felicia Taylor, Harry Tenenbaum, Fabri Eduardo Tidorani, Felicia Taylor, Pamela Taylor, Sebastian Taylor, Julian Elliott Timor, Baroness Francesca Thielman. Okay, never heard of them. I've not heard of any of these people. I wish someone was listening to me, but they're not. Emmy Taylor, Alfred Tabal, Robert Tate, Peter Tavoleris, Mr. Billy, Niketh Tavoleris, Bobby Tobin. Okay, let's go down here. Redactions for personal contact information. Okay. Theodoli Catherine, Anne and Andrew Tish, Mogans Tholstrup, Sonia Titapupolo, Emily Oli Pittis, Todd Hunter, Piola Tholstrup, Barnaby Thompson, David Tish, Merle and Jimmy Tish, Alvarenez Toledo Ignacio, Veronica Busen Tobe, Wine Tolman, Siri and Gavin Tolman, Mr. and Mrs. Tolman. There's not even a first name, just Mr. and Mrs. That's all that's there. Brett Tolman, B. Tolman, Treachy Phillip, Blair and Robert Trump. Interesting. Ivana Trump, Ivanka Trump. Okay, both of the Trumps were there. I don't know who Robert, Blaine and Robert Trump, Ivana Trump and Ivanka Trump were all there. Wine Tolman, Tobe Busen. Oh, let's see. Let's go over here. This should be okay. Robert and Blaine Trump. Jenny Turner. Now we're getting to some people that are famous again. Miles Creswell Turner. Chris Tucker. You guys remember Chris Tucker? Think he's on the up and up? No, he's on Epstein's list. Chessie Francesca Tyson. This is all human trafficking. Araji and Linda Vahabzaredi. Sophie von Howen. Governor Charles Turnbull. Well, who is Governor Charles Turnbull? Let's see who Governor Charles Turnbull is. Um, Gov. Bull. I don't know why this matters. Oh, yeah, he needs to go. Charles Wesley Turnbull. He was on Epstein Island. The man has to go. He actually, let's see, February 5th, 1935. Did he it looks like he passed away, possibly. Yeah, I think he did. He must have passed away. He was from the Virgin. Wait a minute. So he can come from the Virgin Islands and be a governor in the United States. That's kind of what it looks like, that he probably was a governor. I mean, he went under the radar, so people must have liked the man. Let's see. Did he pass away? Yes, he did. At the age of, oh, he was old. Good grief. He was really, really old. He's got a lot of, I mean, we really didn't know who the man was, but he was on Epstein Island. So, I don't know. He must have been involved with some things. Jorge Ubiola, Araj and Linda Vahabzadeh, Sophie von Howen, Yanni and J.P. Verdon Malott, Jala Verdon, Patricia Velasquez, Martin Versovsky, William von Strabanese, Jane Veronis, Carmine Villani, Jacques Villeneuve, Emmanuel Vittadini. We're getting close to being done here, I think. Ozzie Warner, Miss Mandy Warnford Davis, Rupert Wainwright, Sam Waskell, Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace, isn't he a news guy? I don't know if that's the same Mike Wallace or not. Casey and Laura Wasserman, David Wasong, Barbara Walters was on Epstein Island, Kevin Ward, Wagner, David Wagner, Eric Watchmeister, Bettina von Haas, Francesca von Hausbog, Charles Vivian Smith, Vitarelli Dot Marco, Martine Vitos, Patrick Vitos, Yannick Yitos, or Vonique Vitos, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, Lucy Wasnog, Jason Weinberg, Bob Weinstein, Felicity Waterman, Victoria Watson, Harriet Weintraub, Dr. Ruth Westheimer. Oh my goodness, Dr. Ruth was on what? Dr. Ruth was on Epstein Island. The poor little woman. I hope they didn't hurt her too bad. Oh my gosh, she must have been human trafficked. Victoria Watson, Veronica Webb, Lord Weidenfeld, Miss Lolly Weymouth, Miss Lolly, Alan and Wendy Whitworth, Victoria White O'Gara, Michael White, Victoria White, Summers White, Jim Willall, Enoska and Mark Weinberg, Dr. Ellie and Marion Wiesel. There's Dr. Ellie Wiesel again. I think that's, why did I see it already? I don't know. Lionel and Lydia Wiggum, Lionel Wigram, Alexandra and Nick Williams, Alan and Wendy Whitworth. Okay, I think we're getting close to being done here soon, I hope. Mark and Mark Worcester. Mark and Mark. Two different spellings, Mark and Mark. M-A-R-Q and M-A-R-C. Jim Wyatt, Steve and Kate Wyatt, May Yamani, Sean and Camilla Woodward, Alexana Woodward, Emily and Carrie Woodward, Trini Woodward, Theodore Wong, Andy Wong, Taylor, Tim, and Helen Windsor, Steve Wynn of the gambling casino, Elizabeth Winston, George Whippy, Carol Wolper, Grayzolt Manfred Windisch, Carter Wilson, Alex and Fee Wilmot Stitwell, Rebecca Willis, David and Serena William Ellis. And you know, something else they were talking about, someone on one of the other panels was talking something about that we need to, or something about voting, that if President, something about J.D. Vance, if President Trump doesn't run this fall. And it's like, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. They're talking about there being a presidential election this fall. He just became president a year ago. And they're saying there's a presidential election this fall. This is so nuts. Zahawal Yarif, Andrew Yates Piggy. That's on here. Andrew Yates Piggy. Toby Young, Tracy and Lee Greg Younger, Dmitry Yugoslavia, Paige and Bob Zangrillo, Alexei Zales, Gordon Zaks, Sergey D. Yugoslavia, Prince Michael of Yugoslavia. There's a Prince Michael on here. Prince Michael of Yugoslavia, Walid Zawari, Bibi and Adrian Zulcher, Julia Walters, Bettina Zilka, Brian Zip, 65th Street, whatever that is, Brian Dion, John Zeller, Dino and Rossi Zevi, Scott Gieffert. Wait a second. Scott Gieffert. Yeah, so there's actually a lot of these names are not in alphabetical order. No, they're not. How much more do I have on here? Holy crap. I'm at page 60 of 95. Arizona, Aspen Club, this is the Epstein list now. The police are on here. Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can show you this. The police. Okay, do you guys see this? The police is on the Epstein list. This is on the Epstein list right here. Police. Okay, let's put this back up here where we had it. The police is on the Epstein list. Albar. Why is the police on the Epstein list? That is crazy. Albar. Elvis International. Joseph and Floriana Ruda. Kinney Garage Tahoe. Bel Air Hotel. Beverly Hills Hotel is on the Epstein list. Resale Number Antiques America, Ginny Garage Tahoe. I am so glad I read this now. At first I was I wasn't looking at the page here. This is where it gets interesting. How in the world is this on the Epstein list? But it is. Fiorna Ruda Joseph, Sarah Kellen, Brian Kelly, Ghislaine Maxwell. Antiques Resale Americana, Kinney Garage. I think I already said that. Okay, let's go over here. Beverly Wilshire, Bice, Billabouquet, Bond Street, Carlisle, Cipriani Downtown, Coffee Shop, Cohen Gibby, Cook, Christie's of New York. It's all on the Epstein list. Four Seasons Restaurant, Electrolysis, Elaine, Four Seasons Hotel, Four Seasons, Doyle's, Exercise New York, Estia, Delmonico's, Duat Haute Cuisine of India, Essex House, Estia, Exercise New York, Four Seasons Hotel, Stanhope Hotel, Shoes Repair, Shutters on the Beach, Sunset Marquee, Tao Restaurant, The Taylor, Sotheby's, The Great American Health Bar, The Lowell, Westbury, St. Regis Hotel, Sette Mezzo, Royalton, Ritz-Carlton, Peninsula Hotel, Peninsula Hotel is on here twice actually. Opia, Eloni Blech, Province Restaurant, Ritz-Carlton, Plaza Auntie Hotel Plaza, Myers of Westwick, Pierre Hotel. These are all those fancy 5-star hotels that have personal masseuse and all that. Now the personal masseuse stuff of Epstein Island is all redacted. This one I would say is 3/4 redacted. 3/4 redacted with all the names transparent and public. Most of the names transparent and public. Okay, let's see. Well, we're getting there. We're 2/3 done. We're 2/3 done. Tickets, Tribeca Grill, Two Bunch Palm, Ricardo, Entertainment, Annabelle's, Waldorf Astoria, Westbury Hotel, Aspinalls, Brazil, Cecilia Salzman, Gennaro Mario Sr., Clermont Club, Bibendum, Aspinalls, and Annabelle's. Let's go over here. Daphne, Scalinals, Tramp is on here. Foxtrot Oscar, Harry's Bar, Finance, Bear Stearns. Bear Stearns is on here. Centurion, Mark's Club, Nam Long, Nikita's, Chemical Bank, Pastieri, Valero, San Lorenzo. Let's go on down here. Chez Denise, Chez La Amy Louise, Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, this one is a huge redaction. It's on here again. Jeffrey Epstein is on there twice. More than twice, actually. Chateau del Messadir, Azadine Allah, France, PB National Bank, NatWest, Cabaret Nightclub, Cab Blue, Bristol Hotel, NatWest, Colonial Bank, AT&T Access. Okay, let's go through here and read some more. Hotel Crillion, Hotel Raphael, Junot Phillips, Marie Joseph Experton, La Emilienne, La Arc, Gerard, La Apegi, La Voltaire, Madame Le Monsieur, Madame Le Monsieur, Madame Le Mercier, Maid. Oh my gosh, Maid is on here. La Merlot, La Poste, Betty, LaGuardia, Paris Massage is on here. Lawyers. Oh shit, there's lawyers on. It just says, I gotta show you this. It just says lawyers. Look at this. The lawyers were on Epstein Island. Oh my god. This is going to be the bombshell right there. The lawyers were on Epstein Island. You guys see that? The lawyers were on Epstein Island. Okay, well, they've redacted them. Le Telegraph. Okay, so these lawyers are bad. They're bad lawyers, apparently. Marie Joseph Experton. Okay, I already read through those. Let's see what other government officials are on here. The lawyer. As long as the lawyers are on there, we're good. We're golden, right? I mean, someone was sleeping with the lawyers, that's for sure. Yeah, someone was sleeping with the lawyers on the islands. Mr. and Mrs. Mill, Cynthia and Claude Ott, Alberto Pinto. See, we got to read to the last parts. If I would have just read the names and skipped over this part, look at what I would have missed. Atheny Paris Plaza, Takeouts Restaurant, Ritz Paris, Taxi Blues, Taxi Blues, Valera Coltrane Vandelson, Riviera Cafe, Hotels, Berkeley Hotel, Tante Louise. Cox Madison, Jeffrey Epstein is on here again. Jeffrey Epstein, it's a huge redaction. Let me show you this. I gotta show you this. Okay, Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, Jeffrey Epstein is on here again, and it's just a huge redaction there of Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, I know I have it on. I have my thing on kind of a maze there. Barclay Hotel, the Savoy, Waterslide Inn, Island, Air Center Helicopter, Christopher Taxi, Lanesboro Hotel, Dorchester, Connaught, Cliveden House, Claridge's, Carlton Hotel, Massage Island is going away. I didn't know there was a Massage Island in the Bahamas, but apparently I got to show you this. Massage Island. Do you see right there is Massage Island? Massage Island, right there. Epstein Island, Massage Island. Did you guys know that? Massage Island. Brian Mosley, Teresa Roberts, Daniel Romualdez, Water Taxi, Tropical Shipping, Carlos Sanchez. I wonder if Dirty Sanchez is on there. They need to put Dirty Sanchez on there. Israel Ashed Elisa, Yakov Nima, Ehad Olmert, Torna De Pisa, Gol Avi, Arik Gutman, Hyatt Jerusalem Hyatt, Jeffrey J. Apartment. I don't know what the heck that is. Okay, let's go down here. Bill Archer, John Bannenberg, Barack Ehad, Tom Barack, Prince Bandar, Linda Aslanian, Adar, Frederick, Fred, and Kath, Eva Anderson, Ali. Okay, let's go down and see what else we have here. Jeffrey Beck, Albert Benamo, Anthony Barrett, Sophie Biddle Hakim, Jonathan Barrett, Nadia Bojlan, Kelly Bovino, Michelle Campos. Is that Michelle Campos, the one that was from the show MTV from The Real World? That Michelle Campos? What was her name? Was it Michelle Campos? Buckingham Research, David Borden, Leon Black, Coco Brown. Okay, let's go on down here. Catherine Derby, Don Engel, Alan Dershowitz. Everyone knows who Alan Dershowitz is. So who was he? The Epstein Portables? Gerald Edelman, Jeffrey Epstein, Epstein Interests. Okay, that sounds like more financial stuff. Silas Koo, George Delson, Dale Davison, Daniel Kane, Jimmy Kane. Okay, let's go on down here further. Mark Epstein, Paula Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Mark Epstein, Farkas, Andrew Farkas, Farkas, Taylor Foster, Kenneth Gilman, Federal Express is on here. Uh-oh. Marie Gilman, Eric Ghani, Jonathan Farkas. That is such a funny name, Farkas. Harold Moulton, Jalila Hashimi, Joey Hunter, Gregory Margaret Hedberg, Darren K. Indeek, Paula Heel, Eileen Guggenheim, Svetlana Grozanov, Vicky Gray, Howard Glick, Bob Gold, Bob Goodman is on there. Insurance Office of Central Ohio, Henry Dr. Jarecki, Walter Isaacson, Randy James, Mayan Jampanol, Gloria Jarecki, Pamela Jonenhoff, okay, Elizabeth Johnson, Libet, Lily Johnson, Senator John Kerry. Oh my gosh, Senator John Kerry. Jack Kressier is on there. Senator John Kerry and Jack Kressler, or Kressier. Jack Kressler is on there. Christina Kincaid, Steve Coslin. Let's see who else is on here. Mark Lundenberg, Milan Mast Industries, Thomas McMillan, Melinda Luntz, Thomas C. McMillan, Mast Industries. Let me look here. Buckowitz, Cindy, Robin Leach. Robin Leach, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, was on Epstein Island, apparently. Robin Leach, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Does that surprise anyone that Robin Leach was on there? Okay, let's see what else we can find here. Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Adam Perry Lang. Henry Kravis. Nick Leese. How much further have we got to go? Robert Meister. Marvin Minsky. Jerry Merritt. Mark Middleton. David Mitchell. Larry Morinson. Nathan Marvold. N.A. Property. Leslie Weckner or something like that. I'm not sure how that is. Senator Mitchell George or George Mitchell. Is that what that is? I don't know. It looks like it is. Let's see here. Let's see what else we've got here. Okay, Isaac Perman, Pete, Lisa Phillips, Mark Packer, Pilot Information, Joe Pagno, Selma Kurtani. There's something upside down here. I'm waiting. I wish my lawyer's name was on here. I really do. I wish my divorce lawyer's name was on here. On this. I just do. That sounds so terrible. Then it would explain everything that happened that, because, I mean, they've had this discussion about lawyers who say they're juris doctor, JD or whatever, juris doctors. And they said they're fake lawyers. They've had arguments about this on TikTok. And they said they're fake lawyers. They said it's not a real doctor's degree. I mean, they're not a real doctor after all. Uh-oh, did I shut my page out? Oh, crap. I shut the whole thing, or did I? I did. I shut the whole thing out. I can't finish it now. That was a bad idea. I didn't get to finish reading the rest of the list, so, yeah, that would be funny if my divorce lawyer's name was on Epstein Island. I don't know why. I have a feeling his name probably is on there. Even my ex-husband, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if his name was on Epstein Island somehow. And he went and did some things that he didn't tell me about. I wouldn't be a bit surprised at all. Let me see if I can pull it back up again. The contact book redacted. So, okay, let's get this back up. Let me get to page, I believe I was on 75. 75. Okay. Yeah. That's right where it was at. Right in here, yeah. Cindy Bukerwitz, 2A Education commented on my post. 2A Education. Okay. Mast Industries, Thomas McMillan. Milan Mast Industries, Mark Lundberg, Melinda Luntz. So, okay, we've already looked at that one. N.A. Property, yeah, we've looked at that one. Michael Ovitz, Ejok Perlman, Pete, Lisa Phillips, Mark Packer, Pilot Information, Joe Pagno, Selma Kutarni, Larry Esquire Newman, Timothy Newcomb, Bob Oates, New Albany Country Club, Martin Nowak. Thomas Quinn. Yeah, I'm really surprised that 2A is not on here. I'm really surprised the Second Amendment is not on here looking at this right now. Pivar Stewart, Rozovsky Henry, David Rogers, Oliver Dr. Sachs, Stan Schaffner, Sportington Roxon, David Rockefeller, David Ross. So David Rockefeller is on this list. David Rockefeller is on the Epstein list. Can you believe that? David Rockefeller is on the Epstein list. This just can't get any worse, but I'm sure it can, and I'm sure it will. Ann Stock, Linda Stone, Staley Jess, Carolyn Stark, Kim Steele, Lawrence Stroll, Andrew Stein, Warren Spector, Richard and Laura York, David Shaner, Dottie Sowell, Monty Shadow, Douglas Schoeffel, Melissa Solomon. That name is popular, Solomon. That name is very popular. Jeffrey Shantz. What else here? Let's take a look-see. Donald Trump. Wait a minute. Didn't they say Donald Trump was not shown on? Donald Trump is absolutely on here now. Let me. Uh-oh. Well, that's going to be okay. Donald Trump. You see, they said his name was not on the list, and it is. Hang on. Let me try and do this. Let me see if I can shut my filter off for a second here. And I'll show you where Donald Trump's name is. Okay, can I change my filter in the middle of my stream? Yes, I can. Okay, let me do this. Donald Trump is on the Epstein list right here. And, okay, let's take this down. We're going to do this. We're going to take this down and throw it away. There's Donald Trump right there. I thought they said that he wasn't on there. I thought people said Donald Trump was not on the Epstein list. Let me show you. This is the Department of Justice right up here. Department of Justice.gov. AG Media. Donald Trump. There is Donald Trump's name right there. You guys see that? Down. Let's see, what page is it on? It's on page 80. Wait a minute. What came up the other day that was 80? Oh, 80% of TikTok. Maybe that's a commonality. I'm not sure. 80, 20, 80, yeah. Look at this. Donald Trump is on the Epstein list. Let me go over here so you guys can see where I'm getting it from. I'm getting it here from the contact book redacted. From this list right here. So this is everything. Other people won't even go look at it, this stuff. They tell us to look at it. They tell us in the United States to go look at this stuff, but yet people in the UK won't even go look at it. Okay, right here it says Justice Gov up here. They're telling us to go read it, which I've just read through the whole contact book for the most part right now. I read through the flight log earlier, and there's a whole bunch of names. That's where I found the name Don Divito on here. So you guys are seeing this from me here. I thought people said Trump was not on there, but clearly he is. Clearly he is on there. So let me go back over here, set my camera back up again so I can continue. So I can continue reading the Epstein list. Donald Trump is on the Epstein list. Didn't people say he wasn't on there? Hang on a second. Let me see. Some people had said, Epstein. Donald is listed on. Do you want me guys to go back? I mean, right here. I am on a page here that says Epstein files reveal close ties to Trump's influential inner circle. Donald Trump, from what I read, he's on the Epstein list. Absolutely, he's on there. Larry Vysotsky, Linda Wachner, Peg Ugland, Marty Trust, Francis Wall, United Parcel Services on there, Tony Volkis, Bob Trossels. Okay, United Parcel, that's funny. United Parcel is on there. Alexia Wallach, Crystal Wash, Abigail Planta Wexner, Flight Dent Wexner, Becker Vera Wang, Les Wexner. I don't know what it is about that name. That must be European, the name Wexner. Les Wexner, Herb Woolman, Jim Whitehead, White House is on here. The White House is actually on here too. Maybe that's Senator Whitehouse. I don't know. Les Wexner is on there a lot. Christella Wash is on there. Charles Miller, Gary Barr Flowers, Lynn and Jojo Fontanilla, Tom Telephone Sawyers, Tom Pat Sawyers Telephones. So the telephones are there. Brent Tyndall, Sue Hamblin, Grace's Marketplace, Steve Gaston, Lynn and Jojo Fontanilla, Gary Barra, McGill Blossom, Jeffrey Epstein is on here again. That doesn't surprise me. Richard Barnett, Mort Zuckman. Okay. Jeffrey's 71st. I don't know what that is. Kenya Club. Muthagia. Kinnerton Airport Transfers. Chelsea Police Station. Alan Coles Drivers. La Famiglia. John Hobbs Ltd. Jackson Stops. Holland and Holland. Harvey Nichols, Harrods Limited, Hare Associates, and Twistle ISI, Tim and Debbie Stu Martine, Massage UK, Ghislaine Maxwell, Ray John, Range Rover, Police 24 Hours, Anthony Oping, Nessa O'Neill, Nag's Head, and Mini Cabs. So Police 24 Hours, whatever that is on Epstein Island. Dr. Lee, Hospital Lister, Dr. Magnani, MedLink Emergency, J. Dr. Metzier, Dr. Bruce Moskowitz, Dr. Michael Krumholtz, Susan DMV Kent, Ishmael, Dr. Hoshfield, Dr. J. Gaynor, Ear Conning, Dr. Shimanoy, Chiropractor, Stitchcraft, Tobias Maxlane, Unlisted London, Bruce Cope, Medical Burn Home, Dr. Kikos, Dr. Farkas, Dr. Berman, Dr. Ray Keshnay. There's a bunch of doctors on here now. Wayne Whitnick, PB, Oxford Health Plans, Prudential, Dr. Steinberg, Esther Dr. Sternberg, Tom Maggie, Steve Dr. Victor, The Breakers, Chiropractors, Cleaners, Witness. Jeffrey Epstein is on here again. PB Driver, Don Divito. Don Divito is the person I wondered, who the heck is she? I can't figure anything out about her. Christopher Gay, Gaie is his name. That's how he spells it. Francois Goldman, Gerald Goldsmith. Let's see, who else is on here? Okay, Massage, Florida. Bill Marnay. A lot of this is redacted. Redacted. John Bodie, Vet. Alan Stopik, Ghislaine Maxwell, Helicopter Romano, Police PB, Larry Mogan. So the police have been to Epstein Island. Some of the police have. So they must have some things, I mean, they were there during Epstein Island. So they would have to have seen some things go on there, I would think. Tony Busby, Shelley Aboff, Shaw Derrick, Paul Travis, Jim Tuttle, Justin White, Ruggs. Someone said something about Ruggs the other day. What was it they said about they hope the Ruggs didn't go away? Jerome Pierre, Security SC, Scotland Yard. Scotland Yard was there on Epstein Island. Go figure. Felix Posen, Samuel Pulsar, Peters and Peters, Keith, Oliver, Helen Medawell, Paula. What happened here? We had a refresh. Did I finally get a refresh, or am I just getting thrown out? Oh. Hang on a second. Okay, I need to get rid of that website because I'm not looking at that one anymore. Let's see what else we can find here that's outside of the list. If I can find anything updated related to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the people in the UK, what they said was that why keep reading through the list and searching for things when they can't ever find anything? And I told them, they were very nice. I liked them. I liked talking to the people in the UK. I don't care about their accents at all because I like listening to their accents sometimes. And they're very kind. They're very courteous. And they let people talk, which is nice. I mean, I wonder what they would do. I wonder what they would do if someone tried to gaslight them like they do with those of us in America. I mean, it's so inappropriate. I have a feeling they'd probably end up shutting their stream down if someone did something like that. I don't know. But it seems like there's like one woman person who is so annoying on the internet, who goes literal crazy. That sounds like it's one of those same gender types people who is always trying to get attention from everybody and wants to talk all over everybody. And I don't like that person. It's always the same person all the time. And I get so tired of listening to them. Bob Miranda, Brian Coleman, Carolyn Moss. How much more do I have left? 87. Oh, I'm really close to being done. Malcolm Grumbridge, Pierre Lemaine, Keith Oliver, Maury Nesson, Scott and Sarah Nurse Martin, Rodolph Anna Kawi, Robert Ord, Scott and Sarah Martin, Felix Posen. Okay, we already read through all this stuff here. Let's go to the next one. DHL Courier, Flight Options, Flyaway, Frequent Flyers Club is on Epstein Island. Garnero, Mario B. Helicopters is on Epstein Island. Delta Dash, Delta Airlines, Continental Airlines, Concord Tickets. What does that say? Something Gladwin? Something Gladwin. It's redacted too much. City Car. I wonder what they did, though. American Airlines is on Epstein Island. Air Hansen. American Express, AT&T, British Airways, Air France, 2A Education. I don't see any 2A Education on here. Aero Leasing, Travel, the Stefani, the Corveglia Club, Bristol Hotel, Switzerland, SW, the Home Office. David Letterman in the Home Office in Wazoo, Nebraska, or whatever that was. South Ken, 2A Education, the Second Amendment. Eileen Hickory. Yeah, you're not going to find any of the amendments on Epstein Island. Immunization. Immunization of all things is on Epstein Island. Jeffrey Kent, London Airways, Lonsdale, NetJets, Night and day, platinum travel, plane charter, chauffeur, Pisa Brothers, phone, Omar, Northwest Airlines, Raytheon Travel Air, George Koshar, Red Carpet Limousine Company is on Epstein Island. Sapphire Travel, Shoppers Travel Sprint, SR Reservations, Travel Consolidators. Let's see if we can say it fancy. Travel Consolidators, Consolidators, Travel Consolidatory, Travel Consolidatory. That sounds fancier. Travel, Gravel, Avel. Travel Consolidatore. Travel Consolidatore. Okay, let's go down here. U.S. Air, USA International, Virgin Atlantic Airways for the Virgins, United Airlines, TWA. What else have we got on here? Okay, that section there wasn't a whole lot. This section there's a little bit more. Jeffrey Epstein, huge redacted areas. Shannon Healy, John Kelly, Gary Kearney. New Mexico Massage is on here. Rhonda King, Bruce King, Bill Richardson. Isn't Bill Richardson, didn't he used to be a governor? Didn't Bill Richardson used to be a governor? Santa Fe Institute, Dr. and Mrs. Singleton, Abe Hoff, Shelley, Coley Dick. Let's see. Japanese Hatsunahana, Palace Helmsley, Leona Helmsley. Anyone remember Leona Helmsley? Wasn't she the one who donated her? She gave her dog her inheritance because she was so upset with her family. Le Comptoir, Lowell Hotel, Tremerley, Isabel's, Jour Nuit, Madison Gourmet, Madison Towers, Karen Pets, Massage California, Mark Hotel, Madre Lay, Mayfair Regent, McMullen Patrick, Mercer Kitchen, Morgan Hotel, Mr. Chow. What have we got here? Huge redacted. Oh, massage. Visitors massage. Redacted. Oh, that one's huge redacted. It just says visitors massage. The whole thing PB is redacted. Redacted. Important email address. Jeffrey E. Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, Tim Newcomb. It's all redacted. Even though I did find his email earlier, but I don't want to write. I do not want to write to it. Secret Service personnel what? Personnel escorting? Is that what that says? Secret Service personnel escorting? Why would the Secret Service? That's what it says. J. Epstein. What? The Secret Service was on there buying. I gotta show you guys this. This can't go undone. We gotta show you this. I think if I read it correctly, it says the Secret Service was there. That's what it says. Our taxpayer money was wasted by the Secret Service on Epstein Island, escorting for escort services. That's what it says. Secret Service. Now, I didn't see Bill Clinton's name on there, though. Bill Clinton's name was not on there, nor was Hillary's name. Only Donald Trump. Secret Service. Something, I don't know what that says. Escort. So there's an escort service that's taking place. So the Secret Service went there and got some escorting services is what it looked like. That's what it looks like. I could be misinterpreting it maybe, but when it says escort and it's talking about massage parlors and stuff like that, to me that just, Personal escort. Yeah, personal escorting. Okay, see, let me go back over here. I got to read this again. Um, that's what it says, personal escorting. Um, secret. Now, why did you jump up there? Secret service personal escorting. And see, wait, let's go back up here to this one at the top. All of this is visitors massage. This is the part that's redacted to protect potential victim information. So you mean to tell me now the Secret Service is going to say they were victims of Epstein Island and Secret Service personnel escorting. You're going to tell me that the Secret Service did not voluntarily do this, and they're going to say that they were victimized on Epstein Island? I have no idea. That's what it looks like to me, possibly, but I'm not sure. There's names here. I don't know. David, is that David Cook? I don't know. David, yeah, David Copperfield. Oh, David Copperfield? Is that what that says? Looks like it. The spelling I know is kind of wonky, but okay, let's go back over here. And put this right there. Scout for, what does this say? Something, John W.C. Brungle, Scout for Young Females. That's what it says. Mr. Barak Ehud, former Prime Minister of Israel, on the J. Epstein plane. John W.C. Brunel, Scout for Young Females. That's what it says, Scout for Young Females. Scout for Young Females. So the oh my, the Prime Minister, former Prime Minister of Israel. So then Benjamin Netanyahu. I bet Benjamin Netanyahu was on Epstein Island. I wonder why his name has not shown up on here. Let me show you this. I got to show you this one more time. Let's do this again. So I was just trying to do a pretty thing, so I had my camera lens on. Okay, but let me show you this. Okay, so underneath here it says Secret Service personnel escorting Mr. Barak Ehud, former Prime Minister of Israel, on J. Epstein, I don't know what that says, Scout, former Prime Minister of Israel, J. Epstein, right there, and then Karen Models, is that what it says? Scout for Young Females. That's what it says, Scout for Young Females. Right here it says that David Cook, Palm Beach, 2004-2005, witness, something right there, and chat daily with underage girls, right there. There it says it right there. That's the end of it. That's the end of it right there. The very last part here has the biggest piece of information. I think, okay, David Copperfield was a magician. So, but the last page, page 95. Okay. So I read through it. I mean, they've pretty much talked about everything that I think that I read in here. I don't know why they wanted me to read it, but I did. I read it, so I thought, I'll listen to them and see what they have to say. It's like, now, I don't approve of this stuff. I don't. I always said that I never approved of it. It's like I have a heart, even though sometimes I have to say things over and over again to even get my own story out. But I know so many people have been traumatized by different things. And, I get it. Ava Anderson. Who's Ava Anderson? Former model and mother of is that Naked Pic? Former model and mother of Old Naked Pick. Dubin. Former model and mother of Naked Pick. Ava Anderson. I don't know. I read through it. Okay. I just read a bunch of names. Some of them I've heard before, some of them I have no idea who they are. I have speculations of things that I have no idea. I have my suspicions. Now, when I was talking to the folks from the UK, what I asked them, I said, well, do you think that King Charles would have been on Epstein Island with some adversaries, such as Vladimir Putin, or people he wasn't even supposed to be there with, or even could Donald Trump have been there with adversaries? And they said, oh, if the UK finds out about that, they're going to pressure King Charles to step down. They're going to pressure that man to step down big time. So, so myself, I have no idea. If there's more, if there's something that I missed in here. Now, there's a whole bunch of flight logs. Evidence list, B flight log released in US v. Maxwell. There's a lot of stuff on these flight lists that has names on it. That's where I learned of the name of Dawn Divito. And then I looked her up, and then I found Jeffrey Epstein's email address. I am not going to write to that man. He's deceased. I'm not going to write to him. That scares the crap out of me. I agree with the people from the UK. I am not going to do that, but it is listed public. So here the United States government redacts it, but somebody else has it listed public. But I think it's old information. And I said I would be worried and concerned if someone answered because of the fact the man has passed away. So I don't want anything to do with that. I don't want to talk to Jeffrey Epstein. He's deceased as far as I'm concerned. And so if I write to an email and someone else is still using it, I have some big concerns about that. I really do. I agree with the people. This says a copy of Attorney General Bondi's letter can be downloaded here. Let's see what her letter is. Let me see. Office of the Attorney General, Washington, D.C., 2020, 20530, February 27th, 2025. Dear Director, he needs fired. Dear Director Patel, before you came into office, I requested the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. In response to this request, I received approximately 200 pages of documents, which consisted primarily of flight logs, Epstein's list of contacts, and a list of victims' names and phone numbers. I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request, and was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we received the full set of documents. Late yesterday, I learned from a source that the FBI field office in New York City was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files. When you and I spoke yesterday, you were just as surprised as I was to learn of this new information. By 8 a.m. tomorrow, February 28th, the FBI will deliver the full and complete Epstein files to my office, including all records, documents, audio, and video recordings. The materials related to the Jeffrey Epstein and his clients, regardless of how such information was obtained. There will be no withholdings or limitations to my or your access. The Department of Justice will ensure that any public disclosures of these files will be done in a manner to protect the privacy of the victims in accordance with law, and I have done my entire career as a prosecutor. I am also directing you to conduct an immediate investigation into why my order of the FBI was not followed. You will deliver me a comprehensive report of your findings and proposed personnel action within 14 days. I appreciate your immediate attention to this important matter. I know that we are both committed to transparency for the American people, and I look forward to continuing to work with you to serve our president and our country. Pamela Bondi, Attorney General. Well, now they said that there's like, what did they say? Thought they said there's like 30,000 documents on the website now. That's what I thought they said. Now I don't know where the rest of the documents are at, or what I would even. Let's see here. Declassified Epstein files. Okay, let's see if there's videos. Nope, none of this has anything to do with Oh, it probably does. It's Congress talking about Epstein is what it is. I bet that's what it is. I bet you. That's probably what it is. But anyway, I'm going to be done for now. I've been on here 2 hours.